Hey guys. So I'm here today to talk to you about language. Specifically, I want to talk to you about sexist language. First, did anybody notice anything wrong with the way I greeted you just now? Did you notice that even though there are plenty of women here today, that I greeted you as guys? And maybe you don't think that anything's wrong with that. But I'm here today to convince you that our words have consequences, that the language we use every day erases and devalues women, and that if we change our words, we can actually change the way we, as a society, view and treat women. Maybe you don't think that anything needs fixing, and I don't blame you. As a girl in high school, I thought the world was mine for the taking. I was an athlete and an A student, and you couldn't have convinced me that my gender would hold me back from anything I wanted to accomplish. And then I went to college, and I started to sense the underlying sexism in a lot of my interactions. I felt my opinion wasn't valued by my male cohorts, and I felt intimidated, and I failed to speak up as often as my male classmates. And then I took my first women's studies course. And I realized what the high school version of me would never have accepted, that sexism had been all around me. It had just been hidden in plain sight and in plain sound. I used to giggle when people used girl as an insult, and I barely noticed that the word mankind glaringly left out over half of humanity. It was just the way we spoke, and it didn't really mean anything. But I was wrong. I was wrong on so many levels. First, I didn't even think that gender inequality was a problem for women and girls in the US. I mean, I knew that sexual harassment in public spaces started for me when I was about 12. I remember going to the mall by myself for the first time with a friend. No parental supervision. It was really exciting. We were just giddy, going from store to store, and we were in one store, and I was going through a rack of clothes. And I remember this man standing a little bit too close to me, didn't know what was going on. And I turned around to see what was going on, and I got the surprise of my life. The man was standing there, exposing himself completely to me. And I laughed. I can laugh now, and I laughed then because it was ridiculous. But the thing is that this is a sad story. It's a sad story because too often, this is the coming of age story for girls in the US. And even though at the time I thought maybe it was harmless, the thing is that this type of experience, it makes us shrink. It makes us feel guarded, feel threatened. It's like as soon as we start to look like a woman, we become a target. As soon as we get that taste of independence, that it's taken away from us. We're not completely free when we walk outside our doors. But like I said, at the time, I figured it was just something that girls had to go through. It didn't really mean too much. I wasn't aware of the larger implications and what this meant. You see, I knew that women were underrepresented in positions of power. I knew that women made less money than men generally. But I figured there was some excuse for that. It couldn't be sexism, because that was over a long time ago. And then I was appalled to find out that 1 in 6 women are raped or experience a rape in their lifetime. That's women in the United States, 1 in 6. And I was horrified to find out that 1 in 4 women on college campus, 1 in 4 on college campus are sexually assaulted. But knowing what I know now, these statistics make sense. They make sense because it all boils down to one overarching theme, that women in the United States are not valued as fully capable human beings with personal and bodily autonomy. And the problem is that it's invisible so often These things, we don't even see them. They are just part of our everyday life. Partly, that's invisible because we have made great strides towards women's equality, but also because the culture of violence and hostility towards women is so deeply embedded in our culture that we don't even see it anymore. But if we pay attention, if we know what we're looking for, we can see and hear what has been hidden in plain sight and plain sound. You see, our language, the words that we use every day, it's like women don't even count. They don't even exist. You see, we use these words that generalize all people as male. When we say, hey guys, when we say mankind, and when we use the word he to talk about the generic person. And I know, they're just words. Maybe it doesn't mean so much. But research actually shows that when we use masculine generics, words that generalize all people as male, we don't even understand them as generic at all. When a he is used, we assume that a he is being referred to. And studies actually show that for girls, when masculine generics are used, their self-esteem goes down. And when masculine generics are used, their comprehension levels go down. And there's a really interesting story that kind of highlights the power of these masculine generics and the power of our language to shape how we think about the world, how we understand the world. And it's a story about a little girl's teddy bear. Her teddy bear was a he. This is my teddy bear, Charlie. He's a he, too. And I don't remember why he's a he, but I do know that this little girl knew why her teddy bear was a he. So when asked, why is your teddy bear a he and not a she, she replied, well, because there's more he's than she's in the world. And I love her optimism. I love that she just assumed that because there's so many he's, men, and guys in our language, there must be so many he's, men, and guys in the world. Makes sense. There are actually more women in the world, but she didn't know. And this story just illustrates the power of masculine generics and the power our language has to shape our understandings of the world. And so, in addition to ignoring women with our language, we also commonly use language that devalues women. So for instance, when we use girl as an insult, don't be such a girl. We've all heard it. We send the message that women are less than. Consider for a moment if instead of coming out here today and saying, hey guys, I had said, hey girls. Would that have felt different? Would it have felt as though, men in the audience, you don't count, not talking to you, talking to the women, it's like you're not even there? Or would it have felt perhaps belittling or insulting? Well, that's my point. By associating feminine terminology with weakness, we send and reinforce the message that women are less than. It's not a message I like. We also do this when we change words. We feminize words to connote less importance or less competence. So for instance, master and mistress. Master is the masculine version, mistress being the feminine version. Those two words have vastly different connotations. And consider the word brunette. A brunette. With this word, we define a woman entirely by her appearance, by the color of her hair. And there is no masculine equivalent for this word because it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to define a man by his appearance alone. So in addition to defining women by their appearance, we also love to define women by their relationship to men. Miss or Mrs., part of our everyday language, categorizes a woman off the bat as either married to a man or not married to a man. And these examples, they're just the tip of the iceberg. Our language, the language we use every day, in ways that we don't even consider, erases and devalues women. And the thing is that we're just starting to understand the power that language has in shaping our thoughts, in shaping the way we see the world. Our words are not just reflections of our values, they actually shape our values. Words are the tools we have for thinking. And I suggest we start using new tools. We stop using sexist tools, and we start using tools that honor women's lives. Because the implications are profound. Women's lives, women's well-being, women's safety is at stake. And when we change the way we speak, we can change the way we think, and we can change the way we view and we treat women. And so I hope in the coming hours and days, you can start to recognize, keep an open ear, recognize what's been hidden in plain sound, and start to change your words to change the world. Thank you.